Hello everyone, welcome to another episode on our channel on Aikido Virtual Dojo. And in this one we want to focus on taking away the tanto from the uke. So we have the tanto dori, generally speaking some techniques, some basic techniques that we use to deal with knife attacks, with tanto attacks. And they have some common ways of taking away the tanto. So we want to share with you the ones that we use as a basic variant in our dojo, in our style. And let us know if you know some others, some other ways that we might not be aware of. We'll be happy to hear about it. And now let's go into the details.
Okay, so let's take a look at these different ways that we take the knife in tanto dori. There's a main principle that we want to work with. So one of them that you can find out about just in this physical structure of the body is that when you have the arm extended and you bend the wrist with the fingers closed in a kind of a fist, like holding a knife, that when you bend the wrist, it starts to naturally open the fingers. Okay, but you want to do that from the base, and coming from the base of the hand and near the wrist, and when you do that, it starts to loosen the fingers. If I'm closing the fingers, they won't work. So you have to really do it from the base. And that can be done like I'm doing here. If I turn the arm over, then it works even better when I do it that way. And the fingers will naturally open. Okay? So you can see this also with the knife. If it's here, right? And let's say, for example, I've turned it this way and I start to bend from the wrist, then the fingers will naturally open. And it becomes much, much easier to take the knife in that way. Okay? So you want to look at that principle when you're doing the takeaway in tanto dori, especially for a couple of the particular takedowns. So, but let's take a look at the first one here. We can do this particular takeaway with ikkyo or gokyo. Okay, one of these two techniques. And essentially, if my partner is here, he's maybe going to do a ski. Okay, and I've grabbed, as I'm doing the technique, and I come down to the end. There's kind of two ways to do this. So generally what we want to do is prop up the leg here. Okay, and I have him already kind of framed in this position. Okay, so I could actually almost let go of the hands here. I do need to be careful of the knife. But now from here we want to apply the principle of bending the wrist and the hand. The other hand is already ready to take the knife. And as I do this, then it releases the fingers and I can take the knife. And I can actually even practice being careful of the blade. Now if I do this, and I forget that to prop up my leg, and I bring this down, there is another method here. Don't use this too often, but once I'm here, if I'm doing any kind of an ikkyo pin, actually what I can do is pull up the elbow and pin the hand and the wrist underneath. So basically I pull this up, pinning the hand underneath, and then I push back down with the elbow, and that releases this hand here, and I can pull it up between the fingers and the thumb, the weak point. Okay, so whoop, put that back down. So the next one that we can look at is from the kodagaish. It's the same principle, but we do it from standing. So as my partner comes in, we can do the technique. Here, I turn this over. Okay, and I do the particular pin from standing, so I bring the leg up nice and close so I can frame the arm. And I'm going to, again, bend from the wrist, coming down, and that's going to release the knife slowly from the fingers. I want to be able to push the knife down through the fingers, between the fingers and the thumb, the weak point. Right? And the next one, then we're going to take a look at it from shihonage. So what kind of takeaway can we do from the shihonage? So this one is going to be stabbing. Okay, and we're going to be doing this basic technique, the yokomanuchi shihonage. So as he comes in, as I do my technique, I'm going to end up basically bringing the knife back to my partner. As we come down here, if you end up in the right place, you might have the knife actually right up against him. And a very natural reaction is that when I push to apply, that knife will come right out of that hand. Okay? So that's one way of doing it. So the next one and the last one that we'll look at today is from the sankyo. Okay, and we're going to do a takeaway from the sankyo. We're going to be looking at a slash and stab from here. So as we do this, he's going to move in. I do the technique here, bringing the knife close. Now as I turn back into the sankyo, I can actually take the knife here. And so loosen up the fingers a little bit, and I can use some leverage here from the side of the knife without grabbing the blade. But I want to take the side of the knife and sort of point it towards him as I apply the sankyo. This both comes out. This both happens at the same time. Then actually the knife can be a tool to help do the rest of the technique with the takedown. So if you enjoyed the video today, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you have any other ideas about how to take the tanto away, please leave us in the comments below. And we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.